Hello, fellow safety and health professional, and welcome to another podcast in a long series of podcasts. I think it's going on 9 years now, based on an article in Safety and Health magazine that's all about you. Peer pressure typically peaks when we are teenagers. You've experienced it, and if you're a parent who has raised a child, I have 2 children that I raised through puberty, you generally know how intense peer pressure can be. Now, if you include your immediate family in the peer pressure mix, we've all been pressured since we've been born. I'd say from cradle to grave, we'll experience peer pressure. Now, the general definition of peer pressure from the Oxford Dictionary is pressure from people of your age or social group to behave like them or be liked or accepted. So it's about people trying to get you to be like them as a group. Most other definitions give peer pressure a negative slant, as if it's something you should avoid or it's bad or it doesn't do good for you. But I disagree with that. I don't agree with that, because I've had times where peer pressure has been very helpful, has improved my profession, has improved my sense of well-being and all different things. Because I've associated at times with mastermind groups or been involved, like with the National Speakers Association, where I was with people that lifted my spirits, gave me good advice, helped me be better as a person and as a speaker. Now, other times I've been associating with people, and I still do at times, where they negatively influence me or could negatively influence me, but that's my choice. I like to play pool, so sometimes I'll go to taverns and play pool, and some of those people may negatively influence me, but that's my choice. At work, though, it's a different story, and we'll get to that. Now, there's a fine line between being true to yourself and fitting in. It's an important line because it makes a difference, and you need to understand both sides. If I have to act contrary to my nature constantly, if I'm at a job where all the time I have to act different than is true to myself, I'll eventually be miserable and hate my circumstances. That's why so many people hate their jobs, right? And some people love it, of course. I do. I like what I'm working now. But many times people hate their job, and part of that's because they can't express themselves naturally. On the other hand, at least in my case, if my silly and fun-loving personality is not appropriate, it could negatively affect my career. So there's social boundaries that you must observe. All right, so what's a person to do? How do you both be true to yourself, but also fit in with where you're at, the group you're working with? First off, don't let the fear created by peer pressure dominate your behavior. It can influence it, but don't let it dominate it. Now, throughout history, great innovators and others who have injected powerful influences into human society are often considered outliers. They're strange even, Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein. They're odd folks, but if everyone just followed the crowd and only cared about fitting in, there would be little innovation. We wouldn't have people like da Vinci or Einstein. And new ideas would be rare, because a new idea would mean it would change how the group is. Here's what has helped me suppress the negative power of peer pressure to a degree that I still can express myself and be who I am. As I mentioned earlier, at work, you don't always have a choice in this matter. So you want to avoid dealing with negative people in the workplace as much as you can. But when you do, try to associate. In other words, when you can make choices, associate with the upbeat and positive colleagues. Where I work right now, I'm doing demolition work at a nuclear power plant. I purposely hang out more when I can with the positive people. And there's a few that are negative, and I don't avoid them in a way that makes it look like I don't like them. Just I don't hang out with them, don't during lunch or anything. Now, they'll boost your energy. Positive people boost your energy just as negative people will drain it. And it's also helpful to recognize the influence people have on you. I used to always think, oh, I'm not going to let people influence me. You can't. You can't do that. People will influence you no matter what. It's just our human nature. So I try to make an objective awareness of what a person does to me and how they influence me. Now, one time there was a colleague I worked with, had to work with him. He was so negative. I worked with him for about 3 years, pretty steady. Every day I saw him. He complained all the time about everything, was usually in a miserable mood. He was like Eeyore from the show, the cartoon. Oh, everything is horrible. Everything is bad. And that's how he was, and he complained. Well, after a few hours of working with him on a project, I could tell I was feeling down. And after a full day with him, because sometimes we worked all day together on something, I would arrive home feeling downtrodden and emotionally exhausted, and I really didn't understand what was going on. And when I finally recognized, I said, hey, this guy is making me feel miserable, and I objectively said I got to pay attention to this and not let it do that, it got better for me. His complaining almost became humorous. I was like, I can't believe that you are, being negative about this, whatever that would be. And so eventually my objective awareness helped me not get influenced by him. And my peer pressure of always mostly being upbeat and saying positive things, he started to change his attitude and his actions and his behavior. Not completely. He still complained a lot and was still miserable a lot, but I helped him enjoy life more. Now, know why you are acting differently. In my case, for many years, 40 years plus, I have had a mission to make safety fun. I think it's a wonderful thing to do because safety has a reputation of being boring, and you and I as safety pros are often viewed as like negative cops who are out there just to find fault with people. So I've tried hard and helped many people, and myself included, to make safety fun. However, at times I get peer pressure where there's some people that think that that's unprofessional. I should be more stern and reserved. Well, when that comes up on occasions, I can give evidence from research, from all different things, because I've read a lot about it, why my being uplifting and fun and at times silly, appropriately, is a good thing, works. Which then usually silences the person who is trying to say I should be more stern and reserved. Now, you don't have to let peer pressure quell what you know works and who you are. You can't let it severely tamper your personality because it'll make you miserable. And to paraphrase Shakespeare, one of the best ways to live, to have a great life, is to be, quote, true to yourself.